May 10th and 11th, 2022. The sun is in Taurus, and the moon is in Virgo. So, where to begin? Well, both of these are earth signs. They're very practical, although Taurus is more grounded, and Virgo is more in the head. Taurus is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury, the planet of thought and communication. And with Virgo, it is about how am I going to prioritize my life? How am I going to structure my life? What are my habits? How is my health? To myself, and how much or how little am I giving to others? How clearly am I communicating? Am I being specific with my communication? All these questions are great to ask yourself during a Mercury retrograde in Gemini, which starts today. During Mercury retrogrades, things can fly around. Things can get shaken and stirred. Communications can be misunderstood. Things can go off balance. Things can go haywire. Stuff can hit the fan. You could run into all sorts of curveballs and dead ends, and things may not be what they seem to be. That is really where it really has to come into play. So no big purchases during this time. Notice I say during, not before or after. So, this is going to give us metacognition time. So it's reflection time. It's not about acting. Even though Jupiter just stepped into Aries, and it's all about going after the things that we want, the chase, the real, thrust of adrenaline in our lives, making the cake and then enjoying it. But it comes from the action that we took. The action indeed. Because that is what Jupiter in Aries is all about. So Jupiter expands things and rewards you. And with Jupiter in Aries, if we take action and go after what we want, then we're going to get rewarded by manifesting, but also reflecting upon what it is that we want. Now that's where Mercury retrograde comes into play. It's so funny because Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the first fire sign. It is the cardinal fire sign. And so this sign is the spark at the igniter of the engine. It's, the sun is in Aries, the beginning of spring. So the beginning of spring, those 30 days, from March 21st through April 19th, you see all the flowers start to come out and bloom, the seeds start to open up and get green and get vibrant, and there's the luminescent light under the full moon in Aries, balancing that with the fall equinox, which then winds us down. It's like if you were to wake up in the morning, it's like get your energy moving and get things kicking and, find ways to get yourself energized to be able to do what you want to do and make things a reality in your life. In the evening, it's a winding down time. So don't get all wound up hunting for frogs in the nighttime when it's almost time for bed in Hawaii, staying up late, and you have several children that need to be put to bed in time. To find harmony, to find beauty, to love, to resolve the problems that need to be resolved and taken care of at the end of the day, so that you can get a better night's sleep. Rest, somber, dream away, and then your brain can recharge, and you wake up the next morning feeling fresh and new, ready to start a brand new day. So take advantage. Live life to the fullest, because it is sacred. And that's another reminder that Jupiter and Aries can give us. That life in itself is sacred. It is a one-of-a-kind experience that we were put on this earth to experience. And, I say anytime astrology can do this anytime, no matter what sign Jupiter goes into. There was, I was watching a series on Netflix just the other night, and one of the messages of that was, one of the quotes was, don't accept defeat, or, something like that, and they say never give up. Don't give up. Take advantage. Unless you feel like this is hopeless. Giving it all you have. Deborah Silverman, one of the astrologers that I follow, she has this thing, her New Year's resolution for the year of 2022, where she has a word that she used. It is her resolution. And I think it was like patience, something like that. My word is commitment. What is your word? What is your word? When the spring equinox begins, those New Year's resolutions that you've carved and crafted at the beginning of the numerological year. Throughout the missing element of fire and winter from the signs Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces, you've had the time to dream, to imagine, to create, to reflect. Capricorn, how is this going to be efficient and reliable, and how successful is it going to be for the long term? How much gas is in the car? How much money are we going to make? How, the other benefits that can come out of this. Is it going to be easy? Is it going to be convenient? Is it going to give us the fulfilled feeling that we want to feel? All these practical things. Because we do things, we act upon things, because what do we want at the end? We probably want a reward of some kind. It could be candy, it could be money, it could be love from somebody else, a hug, thank you. Well, probably have to be more than that. And then Aquarius is all about looking down at the world from a different angle, from a different perspective, to get up on that eagle's perch and look down to see, where is this going to go? Because Aquarius is very lofty, being in the loft, being in the attic at the top of the house. And the other thing about Aquarius is it brings in these quirky new, traditions, breaks traditions, the maverick, the one to stand apart from the crowd, who is going to really shake things up for the world and introduce, kiki boots as a new form of fashion that people are going to be wearing regularly, as, computers, phones, I think there was something with, Steve Jobs and all those types of things like that. And so, Aquarius also uses the more advanced thinking about the utopia of the world, about the way the world is going to be better or for worse, depending upon the choice that we make. How is it going to serve the greater good? How is it going to serve humanity? Is it going to hinder or default or destruct, hurt others around me? Or am I going to give back to my community in my own individual and special way? And Pisces is the dreamer, it is the mystic, where everything is possible, infinitely possible, where you can merge with energies and people, where separation and ego does not exist. We are all one. It also relates to the unconscious, the invisible worlds, the dream state of being off of this world. When you're sleeping and when you're dreaming, the dreams were very highlighted during that Jupiter in Pisces period, where, if you think about the caterpillar sort of going into the cocoon and taking that time for transformation, and now with Jupiter in Aries, a butterfly can emerge and celebrate and shout hallelujah, or, and fly around with its beautiful coated colors and designs and all those types of things. And so we need to have these things. And Aries brings the fire. Let's do it. Let's take action. The best way to do it is to do it. And it's going to work out well in our favor, if that is the case. Aries can be a blunt sign, an honest sign. And today specifically, we have double Earth. So the Sun in Taurus, Moon in Virgo. When the Moon's in Virgo, it creates a sort of slight OCD state of being very obsessive compulsive and high-strung about the little details and making sure that everything's right. And there's also a critic that comes into play with Virgo. The need to improve, to better the situation at hand. Finding the flaw, finding the missing element, finding where the china is not in the precise, straight, arrangement to be able to set it all out for the banquet coming up. We want our walls to look nice, putting the paintings on the walls, making sure that the paintings are absolutely straight, making sure that the quality of what we are doing is the best that it can be. And if it's not perfect, call it out, name it, and fix it. And Jupiter is moving into Aries, and it's action. So we can fix the problems that need be with Mercury retrograde, sort of turning on the light to those issues that need dealt with. And indeed, the upcoming lunar eclipse is about releasing. It's about letting go of old past traumas and wounds and karma and coming into peace and coming into stability and into the present moment. So it is where the rubber hits the road because we have the South Node sign, North Node sign coming up. Now, in this lunar eclipse, which is opposite, I know somebody very, very well right now who is kind of critical, but I was looking at his natal chart, and he happens to have a lot of Venus energy. So Venus energy would be Taurus and Libra signs. And Venus, as I said before, is the planet of love. And it rules relationships. It rules both your values, materially, second house, and your relationships. And relationship harmony, seventh house, and the number 6. We're in a 6th year, 2022 being a 6th year. And so, grounded is Taurus, slowing down, relaxing, being here now, noticing what is around us. And then Virgo's more, so, it's a mutable sign. All mutable signs have the air element in them, I'd like to think. Virgo is very quick, changeable, a little bit high-strung. Like you've had a lot of caffeine or sugar or, a calorie overdose of sugar as well. And so, to combine the two energies together, or Mercury and Venus, and criticism, to be critical, but in a loving and compassionate way, knowing that, people can't change, you can't, change others, but there's a lot that you can do with the, power that can come from this, these planets and these particular signs. And so, again, I talked about organization earlier, decluttering, all those types of things are very, very highlighted. And it's not only in the physical realm, but it can also be in the mental realm as well. So thank you for tuning in.